Hello! I say it in nearly every intro now. I love every single group in this World Cup that's coming up this year. So many reasons to love every single one. But with that being said, I still decided to rank every single group. And before you get into my list, don't forget that statement I just said. I love every single group. I don't even know I'm making this ranking video. There's so much to factor for each of the groups on how you want to rank it. I guess for some of it, it's going to be how predictable each group is, but you also got to factor the quality from the groups and all the teams. Everyone's going to be saying this is a biased take. No shit. It's my list. Let me know yours in the comments below. This video is going to be giving my take, obviously, but it is an open discussion. And no hate is intended for any of the teams or groups. As I've stated, I love every single one. I don't know how many times I have to repeat that. It probably isn't going to help. I'm still going to hear people saying I'm disrespecting this group, this team. And also, best of luck to the team you're supporting in this World Cup. Let's get into it from bottom to top. I have put Group C at the bottom. Now, you have some very quality teams in this. Argentina at the moment are on a 31 unbeaten streak. This is probably Messi's last World Cup. There's lots to look forward to for the Poland national team. Their new manager they just appointed, Michniewicz, has already grabbed his first win for the national team against Sweden in the World Cup qualifiers, beating them 2-0. Now the Polish fans are looking a lot more hopeful for the national team, and rightfully so. They weren't impressive in the recent tournaments in history. In the World Cup 2018, they crashed in fourth, and in Euro 2020, they crashed in fourth as well. But I think this year will be different for them. They're already looking a lot more confident, organized, and determined to not have a repeat of those last two tournaments. Mexico has so much history making it to the round of 16 and always crashed there. So if history suggests itself, they should be the ones making it to the next round. But the squad isn't looking as promising as previous years. In 2014, people were most confident about Mexico then. Got very unlucky in the round of 16 to Netherlands, but something's just missing in the team. Still have a lot of quality players, but a lot of the qualifier matches, they cut it close. Despite tying with Canada at the top on points, it wasn't the prettiest run. And then Saudi Arabia, a side most people are looking at as an underdog, they could take advantage of their surroundings. They'll be used to this climate and weather. Obviously, they're a neighboring country with Qatar, literally right next door. But in terms of quality, it's going to be tough against these other three teams. And like I said, I love this group, but the reason why I'm putting it at the bottom is because I think it is slightly predictable. I think Argentina will come out in full swing in this group. Maybe some of the matches they'll cut it close, maybe they'll get one draw, but the way they're playing right now, I cannot see them slipping to second. I'm sorry. I did see a lot of people say that's very much possible, but I think Argentina are going to go out with a bang. I see them getting first, and I see Saudi Arabia getting fourth. As personally, I think the main focus about this group is who's going to get second and third, Poland or Mexico. That's the most unpredictable 50-50 part about this group, and I'm very curious to see who comes out on top. Mexico with the suggested history, Poland with the recent improvements and confidence. I predicted Mexico in my earlier video, but I'm not confident about that prediction at all. I wouldn't be surprised if Poland gets second. So yeah, I think it just breaks down to that. I already see the structure of this group, how it's going to play out. Obviously, I could be surprised and proven wrong. Regardless, though, what an exciting group, and I can't wait to see who makes it to the next round. Now, in seventh, I put Group B. This group is just pure banter. I absolutely love it. However, we do have a clear winner. England, I think, will definitely top this group. They shouldn't underestimate these opponents, but I don't think they will. I truly think the England national team might have the best morale in the dressing room. All the players just happy to be on the squad, and so many of them are doing so well. I can't see England slipping. They'll respect all of their opponents by not underestimating them, but at the same time, that allowing them to dominate them. That's how I see it playing out. Obviously, I'd love to see the other teams prove me wrong, but that is my take on England. For the other teams, though, you've got Iran, USA, and the Euro playoff winner between Scotland, Ukraine, and Wales. And I'm very curious to see who comes out on top out of those European teams, as I think depending on the side, they could definitely change up this group. I think second, third, and fourth is open game for any of these sides, and that's what makes it so exciting. And I've stated it before, I think Iran do have a lot of potential to prove people wrong. I'm still seeing so many people write them off. A lot of people are banking on the European team or the USA to make it to the next round. And while I think every single one of these teams will put off a good fight, I'm not too confident we'll see the best of USA in this World Cup, mainly due to Greg Berhalter. Their manager has already shown he's not taking advantage of the talent they have in the squad. So many exciting players that have potential to do bits, but they don't look as organized of a team compared to the other CONCACAF nations. So I hate to say it, but feel free to prove me wrong, McKennie and Pulisic. I'd love to see it. I'm still trying to grab tickets for the USA myself. And yeah, it's too tough to call this group right now because we don't know who that playoff winner will be. This group's already talked about a lot, obviously, with so much media revolving around the USA and England. But I think there'll be so many more talking points once that fourth team is added. So my opinion can change, but right now I'm placing them there. Now for 6th place, I've gone for Group A. I just made a video about Group A and I praised them saying that they're slept on. I feel like a lot of people are going to be putting this group at the bottom. And I understand. Lots of people aren't really familiar with the Qatari national team. Many people writing off Ecuador. A lot are having Senegal and Netherlands as the clear favorites. But I think this group is way more unpredictable than people think, and that's why I'm rating them higher than the other two. Qatar are the hosts. Never underestimate the hosts. I cannot see this side not at least grabbing one win or one draw. Just because they haven't been going through a qualifier run doesn't mean they haven't been getting practice. They've been playing a lot of friendlies. They just were in the CONCACAF Gold Cup. They also came third in the Arab Cup. Qatar are a more promising side than people seem to make them out as. Ecuador, on the other hand, they held off to their qualification spot in South America for so long. Bravo to this side. But the problem is they don't have a great away record. So it's very unsure of how well they'll do. Regardless, their squad is filled with so much young talent that's looking very promising this year. I wouldn't be surprised to see Ecuador upsetting these big teams in this group. And like I said, most people are banking on Senegal and Netherlands. Senegal, one of the most stacked teams in Africa. Netherlands, a top side that usually has good World Cup history, apart from not being in the last one. It's hard to write off any of these teams, and I think the underdogs in this group can definitely punch at the bigger ones. Maybe Netherlands and Senegal will easily get first and second, but you never know. Unpredictable underdogs, a very exciting African side, and then the freaking Dutch. Good luck to all the teams in that group. Now for 5th place, I have gone for Group D. The playoff spot in this group is still to be determined, but it very much could be either Peru or Australia. The UAE is still in contention, obviously, but if it is Peru or Australia, we'll be seeing a very similar group to 2018. As in 2018, we saw a group of France, Denmark, Australia, and Peru. We'll just be replacing one of those teams with Tunisia. So in terms of that, it might not be as exciting to some people. However, there's a lot to factor in this group. Obviously, France are one of the favorites on paper. Look at the squad they have. So much depth. So many players in form. New ones coming in as well. Nkunku, I swear if that guy doesn't get selected for the national team this year. You got Big Ben's recently scoring a hat-trick against Chelsea today. 2 hat-tricks in a row in the Champions League. Kylian Mbappe, don't have to say more about this guy. Okay, I'm not going to go in depth for the French squad. You all know the French squad. Freaking stacked. However, a lot of people are unsure about this side, as we all know about the World Cup curse. With every team that has won the last World Cup seems to get knocked out of the group stage this time around. It could very much be possible for France, but a lot of people see them breaking the curse. As like I said, look at the French squad. Fair enough. But at the same time, you know, the fact that they have potentially a very similar group to 2018, we could see these sides going out at full swing, doing whatever they can to get a win against the World Cup holders. It's not going to be as easy of a task as people make it out to be for France. As Denmark have also looked like they've improved a lot recently. They had a fantastic run at Euro 2020, making it all the way to the semifinals. And not to mention, this can be both an advantage for France and Denmark. These sides are playing each other before the World Cup starts in the Nations League. So they'll be able to get a decent amount of practice against each other. Coaches will also have some tactics worked out for one another. Could be a very interesting one. Not to mention Peru. If Peru makes it to the World Cup, I think they're going to be very hungry this year to make a difference. Even Griezmann said Peru was one of the toughest teams they faced in 2018. This side got knocked out of the group stage last time despite putting amazing fights in the group. Now that they're familiar with these teams, Peru could have the utmost confidence in this group. In Tunisia, this side has a decent recent history of going far in the Africa Cup of Nations, upsetting teams like Nigeria. Lots of people are sleeping on Tunisia this year, as this group just looks too tough for them on paper. In fact, if France do end up crashing somehow, they definitely got a chance. They just got to grab some good results against Peru and Denmark too. This group has potential for a lot of surprises, and that's why I'm rating it fairly highly. Not all the way at the top, but I think it deserves a good amount of recognition. Now at number 4, I've gone with Group H. You might be asking, why am I rating this group so highly? Portugal, arguably one of the worst teams in Pot 1. In terms of quality on the team, phenomenal. In terms of the management though, questionable. Uruguay just made it to the World Cup. They had a terrible patch during those World Cup qualifiers, as we saw. It involved them sacking their long-term manager, Oscar Tabarez, and they're doing better now. They're more promising, and we could see Suarez and Cavani going all out for possibly, I mean definitely, their last World Cup. Ghana, on the other hand, a lot of people are even surprised that they're in the World Cup. They were terrible in the Africa Cup of Nations, finishing 4th. But think about it, they beat Nigeria to make it to the World Cup. Yes, they did win on away goals, but their attack is looking absolutely electric. I think they can definitely cause damage in this group, especially due to the fact that they're playing Uruguay. They might want to get revenge after what happened in 2010. And South Korea, this side finished second in their group for the World Cup qualifiers, just short off the very solid Iran. I think a lot of people are forgetting of what this side are capable of. They have a phenomenal forward, Heung-min Son, along with some other very underrated players. This side beat Germany in 2018 in the group stage. Why can't they beat a questionable Portugal or Uruguay in this tournament? Obviously, the favorites to make it to the next round are Portugal and Uruguay. But this is a group where I very much see an upset happening for one of those teams. I think Ghana or South Korea can make a difference. I think this group is super exciting, and there's so much potential for it to be action-packed. Portugal and Uruguay look very tough on the surface, but I think the underdogs can break them down. I'm just predicting one upset here. Not both of them to go out, but one of them. And that's why I'm very much looking forward to this group. Will Ghana make a comeback against Uruguay? Will South Korea upset another European giant? There's so many possibilities in this group. I don't see it being super clean for either Portugal or Uruguay. And that's why I'm ranking it so highly. Obviously, a lot of people have it lower, as Portugal, like I said, one of the lesser teams in pot 1. Uruguay, based on form, they're doing better recently, but in the past, one of the more questionable teams in pot 2. Ghana with their terrible history recently, but now they're very much looking like they're improving, and people just always seem to rule out the Asian countries. I think one of these underdogs can make the difference, though. Good luck to both of them. Let's move on to my third placed group. I've gone for Group E. Why have I gone for Group E? We don't even know that playoff spot yet. It's either going to be Costa Rica or New Zealand. So you've got two huge favorites, Spain and Germany. Two favorites for this whole tournament for many people. You got two potentially massive underdogs. First of all, I am amongst the many who are probably predicting that first and second will go to either Spain or Germany. But imagine if one of these giants get knocked out this early. It's very much possible. Japan now know what they're getting into. We've seen them put off terrific fights in 2018. Remember that match against Belgium? What a thriller of a match that was. Japan looked like they had it at one point. Costa Rica, if they qualify on the other hand, look at the amazing run they had in 2014. In 2014, they were put in the group of death. What can they do against the Giants now? Although Spain and Germany are the favorites, it's not going to be a cakewalk for either of them. Although I gotta say, both of these sides look like they're massively improving. They're both in a bit of a rut after each of them won the World Cup, but now they're looking like they're getting back at it. Spain with the whole new generation of players that all look like they're very much in form. Germany with a few as well, but they also now got Hansi Flick, a phenomenal manager. We saw him do so much at Bayern Munich while he was there. And the second he took charge over Lowe, the team looked like they improved massively. So I'm very excited to see what he's capable of doing. I'm confident that Luis Enrique can also do bits for Spain, and I'm also very excited to see how much of a fight Japan and Costa Rica can put. As yeah, a lot of people are writing them off, but I could see them making these teams struggle. Not to mention in my prediction video, I did say that these two teams could possibly make it to the final. So I have a lot of expectation for the two giants, and I'm very excited to see how Japan and potentially Costa Rica or New Zealand handle them. Good luck to every team. Now, let's move on to my top two groups. I already see the comments. Oh my god, of course he put the group of where Croatia and Serbia are at the top. Now, although it might seem like there is no coincidence in that, I assure you it's not solely because I'm rooting for Croatia and Serbia in this tournament. I think both of these groups have potential catastrophe written all over them. And I'm seeing a lot of people 50-50 that one of these groups is the group of death in this World Cup. For second place, I'm putting Group F. Belgium, Croatia, Morocco, and Canada. You've got two favorites, but two underdogs you don't want to mess with whatsoever. And not to mention, those favorites are not looking as promising as they were in 2018. In 2018, Croatia was more of a projected dark horse. Belgium were even one of the favorites for the World Cup. Now, not so much for either of these teams, as Belgium's golden generation is disintegrating. Croatia have already lost a lot of key players from 2018. Mario Mandzukic, Ivan Rakitic, Subasic. I'm seeing a lot of people are saying, oh, Croatia's squad is aging so much, they're definitely going to get knocked out. Well, yeah, obviously it's aging a bit, but they also have a lot of young talent coming in. Their defense in particular, in the midfield, we got so many options, so although we will miss Rakitic, I still believe in the likes of Mateo Kovacic. The only thing I'm worried about is the missing striker. I'm worried about how threatening we'll look in front of goal. Kramaric, I hate to say it, he ain't Mario Mandzukic. But then look at Morocco. This side just has such a solid base. We've seen them go decently far in the Africa Cup of Nations. Lots of talented players on the squad. The only thing that concerns me about this squad is the fact that Ziyech had a falling out with the manager, Halil Hodzic. So now Ziyech, one of their best attacking players, is not in the squad anymore. I think that will be a huge loss for them, but they can definitely still cause damage without him. Very solid base of a team, like I said. Their goalkeeper, Yassine Bonu, has been very solid for Sevilla. You've got one of the best fullbacks in the game right now, Hakimi. Boufal is still turning up for the national team. Youssef En-Nesyri, very solid striker. We could see a very fired up Morocco side at this tournament, and there's no way any team should rule them out. Much stronger than a side most people make it out to be. In the 2018 World Cup, they did finish 4th, but luck was not on their side in that tournament. Maybe this time things can go their way. And don't even get me started about Canada. I think this is one of the stronger teams in Pot 4. Look at how well they did in the CONCACAF qualifiers. They play so well on the counterattack. I'm genuinely jealous with their attacking options. Kyle Larin, Jonathan David. You've got pacey fullbacks, Alphonso Davies. The only reason why I doubt this side is maybe they won't be used to the climate. They love taking advantage of their home pitch where people freeze. Very organized, compact side by John Herdman. I am definitely worried about Canada. An underdog, many people expect to see them cause some damage in this tournament. They were placed in a very tough group compared to the other CONCACAF teams, but they still have every reason to believe and shine. So although a decent amount of people are banking on Belgium and Croatia making it through, I wouldn't be surprised to see either of them crash. I hate to say it, I hope it's not Hrvatska, but both of these underdogs can definitely take advantage of the iffy situations Belgium and Croatia are in right now. I wish the best of luck to every team except for when you come up against Croatia. But yeah, this group has a lot of potential for excitement written all over it. That's why I'm rating it so highly. But now for the final group I put number 1. Y'all probably know by now. Group G, Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon. We have seen a very similar group in 2018. The only different team was Cameroon. Instead of them, it was Costa Rica. We saw Serbia crash. Switzerland and Brazil excel. Brazil look like the clear favorites in this still, without a doubt. But look at how much Serbia has improved recently. Dusan Vlahovic, Dusan Tadic, Milinkovic-Savic. Go to my other videos if you want to hear the stats about all of them. I talk about it too much. Phenomenal players that have really excelled over the years. They don't have the best record in the World Cup, but I could see them going all out on this one. Especially due to the fact that Switzerland had a massive win against them in 2018. And not to mention, Shaqiri and Xhaka brought out the Albanian celebrations. I don't mean to get into that topic, but you already know it's about to go down. Serbia is going to want to do whatever they can to get revenge in that match. And they'll obviously put up a great fight against Brazil as well. Brazil should not underestimate any of these teams, as there's so many talking points about all of them. I already went into Serbia. For Switzerland now, we've seen how much of a unit this side is. They qualified over Italy in the World Cup qualified group stage. We've seen them make it all the way to the quarterfinals in Euro 2020, having to face France, one of the biggest matches in the tournament in the round of 16s, and then just losing to Spain on penalties. In my opinion, Serbia and Switzerland are the two potential European underdogs that could have excelled in this tournament. So it's kind of a shame to see that one of them will probably go out, because it seems like Brazil will be the favorites in this group. But let's not forget about Cameroon. Look at what Cameroon did against Algeria. That match is proof that this side, they don't care if time's against them. Algeria scored in the 118th minute. That didn't stop them from scoring yet again and winning on away goals in that match. The belief and determination will be very strong in Cameroon. They could very much influence this group and potentially even get out of it. They have a very strong attack. Cameroon, honestly, one of the most underrated sides in Africa. Decent run in AFCON as well. This group is very unpredictable. Obviously, Brazil might be an easy pick for first, but second place is all up for grabs, and that's why I love this group. Literally anything is possible. I've been talking up Serbia a lot, and I'm still confident in them, but it's not looking as certain as before. I truly think they're in the toughest group in the tournament. All of these teams are not to be messed with. Even Brazil, don't expect an easy first place position. Now, in terms of the groups I will be paying the most attention to are Group G, Group F, and Group B, since there's a team I support in each of those groups. But here is my final list. Looking at it, it's mainly based on predictability. There are some reasons why it's not. Maybe I shouldn't have put Group D that high, but I'm gonna stick with this as my ranking. Like I said, let me know yours in the comments below. Hey, I wouldn't argue with you if you put Group C first place, especially if you're from one of those countries. I totally understand the bias on that. I think this list is fair to say that there's bias involved. I mean, you could have ranked it based off of skill from each of the groups, but it's hard for me to judge off that because I could make my own assessment, but I think every team has so much to prove in this tournament. I don't even feel safe talking about that. Too many unpredictable groups. I freaking love it. I can't wait for November. Like I said, let me know your list in the comments below. Thank you all for making it to the end. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new. I'll be doing a ranking video similar to what I did in the past for European, African, Asian teams, all that. I'll be doing a combined one for all the World Cup teams next week. So stay tuned for that. Take care. La noche.